Who exactly are you, Robert? Please, be honest with me. Emily asked me with a serious look, watching me as I smoothly served our foreign customers. I realized I couldn't hide the truth from her any longer. My name is Robert. I'm a man in my late 50s. I work as a server at a cafe near a tourist spot. The cafe is popular with locals for its classic sweets like cakes and cookies, paired with a wide variety of authentic coffee. However, the tasks I'm given are always simple ones. That's because the manager, Aiden, thinks I'm incompetent and only assigns me menial jobs. So, I spend my time disposing of old files or cleaning outside the shop, feeling like a student part-timer. In fact, these days even students don't do such simple tasks. Other staff, after just 6 months, are trusted with ordering supplies or doing simple cooking in the kitchen. But Aiden treats me like a chore boy, giving me only boring tasks. Hey, there are leaves piling up outside the shop. Go clean them up right away. Got it. Don't dawdle. Get it done efficiently. Though, you might struggle with that. After all, you're so useless that you can't do better than being a cafe worker in your late 50s. Whenever Aiden sees me, he picks a fight. And he orders me to do things that don't require immediate attention. Since these tasks are quickly done, I often find myself bored. I work at a cafe, so I wanted to do more fulfilling and enjoyable tasks. I think I'm passionate about my work, but I'm not good at asserting myself, so I can't stand up to Aiden or the other staff. There's a reason why I became so timid. When I was in elementary school, a foreign family lives nearby. I used to play with their younger child, but while the parents spoke broken English, the child spoke none. Instead, he talked to me in French. Wanting to communicate with my little friend, I worked hard to learn French. Though they moved away before I started middle school, the fond memories stayed with me. In middle school, I began learning French formally. Remembering my childhood, I tried hard to pronounce French correctly. The other kids were all just reading aloud with sloppy pronunciation. So it probably annoyed my classmates that I was trying to get closer to the real pronunciation, making me seem strange. For 3 years, I endured being teased for my weird French. In the 3rd year, we had to participate in a French speech contest for visitors, and my classmates nominated me to mock me. I was completely taken aback. I think Robert should do the French speech. He studies English every day, so he'll give a great speech. Wait a minute, I don't want to. I tried to protest, but everyone agreed, and I ended up participating in the contest. On the day of the contest, I was so nervous I couldn't remember the faces of the guests in the front row. Somehow, I finished the speech and even received applause from the guests. However, I wasn't studying French to stand out, so I felt incredibly embarrassed. This experience made me dislike drawing attention to myself. Because of this, during my school years, I thought it was better to endure quietly rather than complain and stand out. One day, a woman came to our cafe from out of town. Her name was Emily, and she was going to be our new manager. It was lucky enough for me that the strict previous manager was being transferred, but Emily turned out to be a kind person. Emily was in her 30s, about 5 feet 5 inches, and wore heeled shoes. Her tall and slender figure made her stand out in the cafe, giving her a refreshing presence. With her large, sharp eyes and fair complexion, she was strikingly beautiful. I was worried that her appearance might mean she had a strict personality, but I found out she was actually very kind to me. Robert, could you translate the new menu starting next week into French and create a French menu? Are you sure you want me to do it? Yes. I was going to ask Grace, but she's too busy right now. Oh, I don't mean you looked idle, please don't take it the wrong way. No, I don't mind. I'm just an insignificant employee, but if you think I can do it, I'll give it a try. You're not insignificant at all. Thank you, I'm counting on you. Emily gave me this task, and I was thrilled to finally do a meaningful job. Thanks to my hard work, I created a French menu that clearly showed the dish names, descriptions, and prices. Emily, I'm finished. Is this okay? Wow, that was quick. Thank you, it looks great. The balance between the photos and the French text is perfect. This will be easy for our international customers to understand. Receiving praise for the menu I made me happy for the rest of the day. Because of this, I started to develop a bit of a crush on Emily. Emily had graduated from a prestigious private university in the city and joined a coffee shop chain. She quickly moved from store to store across the country and became a manager in record time, bringing a wealth of knowledge and experience. Additionally, her beauty and kindness attracted many admirers. However, Emily gracefully turned down all advances with a smile. She would take the train straight home after work. By coincidence, we got off at the same station, so we often chatted on the way home. Though it was purely coincidental, those brief moments with her made me happy. One day, after the lunch rush and once the morning staff had left, I was doing inventory as usual. As I was trying to finish my tasks, Emily suddenly called me from the cafe floor. "There are foreign customers here. Can you help serve them?" "Me? Are you sure?" "Yes. It's a slow time, but suddenly a group of 30 people came in, and we can't keep up. Just take their orders, please." Seeing the situation, I was surprised to find 30 customers of various nationalities. Apparently, they were part of a training group from a nearby company, speaking multiple languages, not just French. Emily was trying to handle them in French, but she couldn't keep up with their fast-paced speech. The foreign customers, growing impatient, began to frown. Some shrugged in exasperation and started wandering around the shop. Since it's a cafe, the interior is decorated with traditional toys from around the country and replicas of famous paintings. Thinking they were for sale, the customers would pick them up or start playing with them on their own. "Please wait, we'll guide you to your tables shortly." "Wait, please." Emily desperately tried to stop them but couldn't make herself understood. I quickly stepped out into the shop. "Sorry to keep you waiting. We'll guide you to your tables shortly." Speaking to a customer admiring a Barbie doll, I guided them to a nearby table. One by one, I seated the customers from various countries. Calmed by the communication, the foreign customers settled down and took their seats. Once all 30 were seated, I returned to Emily. "Emily, let's start by serving everyone water." But Emily looked at me, wide-eyed, as if she were seeing me for the first time. She stared at me for a while before finally speaking. "Who are you? How were you able to guide all the customers?" It was understandable that Emily was surprised. The truth was, I guided the customers not only in French but also in Spanish, Italian, Chinese, and Korean. Smoothly switching languages to suit each one. I'll explain later. For now, let's focus on serving our customers. With that, I went to distribute water to the tables. Emily watched as I chatted lightly with the customers while setting down their glasses. Her eyes were still wide, probably wondering how an incompetent employee like me could speak so many languages. In the end, we served the customers their desired dishes and drinks, and they left highly satisfied. Several of them even complimented our excellent service as they left. After seeing off the last customer and tidying up the tables, the cafe finally returned to its usual calm. Emily, who had been diligently working, approached me with questions. "Robert, you're really impressive. You said you were insignificant, but today you didn't seem like that at all. Do you have an extraordinary background?" "Well, no, not really. Come on, aren't you an elite? You must have a far more impressive history than just being a cafe manager like me." "Robert, who are you? Please, be honest." Emily asked me seriously. I realized I couldn't keep anything from her any longer. "I studied foreign languages in college, actually." "I thought so." "Which college, if you don't mind me asking?" She probably asked out of simple curiosity. I had no reason to lie, so I answered truthfully. "East City University of Foreign Studies. I have DELF C1. C1? Yes. Besides French, I also studied Spanish, Chinese, and Korean. I have business-level proficiency in each." Emily gasped in surprise at my words. "Wow, having certifications in so many languages besides French. That's incredible, Robert. And earlier, you were speaking even more languages. Right? Well, it's true. I learned during my French studies that many Spanish people prefer their own language, so I studied Spanish to communicate better. In the process, I also picked up Italian because it's similar to Spanish." "Why so many languages?" It seems she believed my story was true. She leaned in closer, clearly interested. Speaking someone's native language builds trust. It feels rewarding. So, what about Chinese and Korean? Since they're big countries, and Korean has a similar structure to Chinese, I found them useful for business. I enjoy mimicking the unique sounds of different languages. Although I was mocked for it in middle school. Emily looked at me with shining eyes. Amazing, Robert. Why did you ever call yourself insignificant? I'm not that great. After learning various languages in college, I studied abroad and eventually found a job. You've worked hard for many years, Emily, which is far more commendable. But I don't have special skills like you. Did you use your language skills in your job after studying abroad? Yes. I worked as a multilingual interpreter. It was nerve-wracking because any mistake could result in millions in losses. Emily's eyes sparkled as she listened. Then she smiled warmly. Thank you for helping earlier. I was panicking with all those different languages at once. It was nothing. I couldn't take pride in my language skills for a reason. As I mentioned, interpreting is very stressful. If the meaning of words is misunderstood, there's a risk of damaging the relationship with the other company. That's why I continued studying every day even after I started working, leading a tense life. My job became all-consuming, and I neglected my ailing mother, who lived with me. My mother, who had always been frail, apparently hesitated to tell me when she felt unwell. I received a call from the States informing me that she had passed away while I was on a business trip abroad. I couldn't forgive myself for not noticing her condition. After my mother passed away, I quit my job and moved to a place where no one knew me. I wanted to work quietly for myself, which led me to this cafe in the countryside. Initially, I hated the foreign languages that led to losing my mother and didn't want to speak them anymore. But today, seeing Emily in trouble, I couldn't help but step in. Emily listened attentively without interrupting. I wanted to help because you've always been kind to me, Emily. After hearing my long story, Emily had tears in her eyes. Oh, this person is crying for me. Thinking that, I felt a warm surge in my chest, grateful for Emily's kindness. Robert, you're such a kind person. You're too kind, which is why you blamed yourself and quit your job as an interpreter. But you don't have to give up your love for foreign languages because of your regrets. That love is a precious part of you. Emily. Her kind words and genuine compassion moved me deeply. I wanted to repay her kindness someday. Unexpectedly, that chance came soon. The next morning, we received a phone call. The company that organized the group tour from the previous day was so impressed with my service that they wanted to include our cafe in their future tours. We also received offers from nearby tourist facilities to collaborate, and our cafe began working with travel agencies. We did it. It's all thanks to you, Robert. It's not just my efforts. It's because the entire cafe staff provides heartfelt service that the customers were so pleased. With regular tour groups from overseas, we became very busy. Our cafe gained a reputation as a hidden gem in the States, attracting many individual inquiries as well. We'll need to hire more staff with all these customers. Headquarters has decided to expand the number of locations. It's really thanks to you, Robert. We couldn't keep up with just me handling translations, so we hired staff proficient in various languages. This increased our customer base, boosting the entire cafe chain's performance, and there were plans to open a branch overseas next year. As a manager of the flagship store with skyrocketing sales, Emily was frequently attending meetings and giving lectures at headquarters. I also started attending various meetings with her. One day, I joined Emily for a manager's meeting. While reviewing the materials before the meeting, I heard a familiar voice. Robert? What is an incompetent employee like you doing here? Only managers can attend this meeting. And it's for top managers personally invited by President Anderson. Aiden, it's been a while. It was Aiden, the former manager who always belittled me. He stared at me before speaking again. I heard your cafe has suddenly become successful, attracting foreign customers. What kind of underhanded tactics did you use? I didn't use any tricks. I just talked to the foreign customers. You? Aiden never expected that I could speak foreign languages. He looked at me in disbelief, eyes wide. So, you're saying you're the one driving the sales increase? That's a lie. An incompetent like you can't even understand French. Stop lying and leave this manager's meeting. No, it's true I speak foreign languages. And I'm not leaving. Today, they're announcing my promotion to manager. I'll be in charge of our first overseas branch, the flagship store for our global expansion. Hearing this, Aiden was speechless. The man who had mocked me as incompetent and given me menial tasks was furious that I had been selected as the manager of an important overseas branch. When my promotion was officially announced during the meeting, Aiden turned red and clenched his fists. I thought I'd be chosen for the overseas branch. How could they pick Robert? Aiden glared at me, but then President Anderson's words made him freeze. And Aiden, I've heard bad reports about you from multiple sources. You've been abusing your position as manager. Giving unreasonable tasks to employees. No, that's not true. We've investigated. We've spoken to those involved. You need to cool off. Apparently, Aiden had been treating other employees poorly, just as he had done to me. Some new hires had never even been allowed to work on the floor and had collectively reported his mistreatment to headquarters. Aiden desperately tried to make excuses, but President Anderson demoted him to a regular employee and imposed a salary reduction for a year, causing Aiden to sink to his knees in despair. Before my transfer overseas, Emily invited me to a bar. It had been a long time since I went out drinking with a woman, and I entered the bar nervously. Emily, who seemed to hold her liquor well, ordered several refills, while I was just trying to keep my cool. My heart pounding at the thought of drinking with such a wonderful person. Suddenly, Emily placed her hand over mine. I've liked you for a long time, Robert. I'm sorry for saying this so suddenly. You might not have noticed, but I always took the train home on time because I wanted to be with you. Really? I was completely surprised and couldn't help but express my honest feelings. So, while I want to support your move to the overseas branch, I also feel sad. I don't want to be apart from someone I love. Well, I feel the same way. I've always thought you were wonderful, Emily. Her hand was warm and soft, possibly due to the alcohol. And I, too, was probably a bit tipsy. I ended up saying something akin to a proposal. Then, why don't you come with me? What? We were looking for an experienced manager to help run the overseas branch with me. I think we could support each other both at work and in our personal lives. Though I felt embarrassed about proposing without even dating, Emily smiled gently and said, "Yes, I'd be delighted." I was overwhelmed with happiness. We started dating with the intention of getting married. Having worked together for years, we knew each other well. Eventually, we decided to get married before moving overseas. On our wedding day, I was mesmerized by Emily in her wedding dress. When she smiled and said, "I look forward to our life together. I love you," I felt like the happiest man in the world. We have since enjoyed a blissful marriage and are busy managing and running the overseas branch. Meeting Emily was the luckiest event of my life. Without her, I wouldn't be who I am today. We will continue to support and encourage each other, living a fulfilling life together.